Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
Listen to Regina Abban and Lady Caroline every Monday from 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Point at Starr Radio UK, where we educate the youth and young adults on life issues.
Lord, I need,
Hi, my name is Captain Tete. Join me this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. as we delve deeper into today's miracle healing with my guest on Starr Radio UK.
happy for the life fire, for the air we breathe. Thankful for the gift I have, for the blessings I receive. Cause I know say energy over me. Even on the worst days, nothing will pull me down. And I sure say heaven no fail me. Even on the worst days, nothing will pull me down. Even if I want shot, I want shoot, yeah. One bag, I want boot, yeah. Me and my own self, I go be grateful, yeah. Even if I want shot, I want shoot, yeah. One bag, I want boot, yeah. Me and my own self, I go be grateful, yeah. I've given more than it takes from me. The more you look, yeah, the less you see. Where you been there when I did my G. Plan A don't fail, it remain plan B, yeah. Let it be, yeah. Let it be, yeah. Let it be, yeah. Let it be. Every day I thank my God for blessing. Thank you for blessing. And if the same man be God, oh, therefore no sending me. Even if I want shot, I want shoot, yeah. One bag, I want boot, yeah. Me and my own self, I go be grateful, yeah. Even if I want shot, I want shoot, yeah. One bag, I want boot, yeah. Me and my own self, I go be grateful, yeah.
It's STG.
Hey, chill. I'm fine. Now for you, where are you now? Home now.
Hello, and welcome to Starr Radio UK. And this is What's Next with me, your host, Ife Popoola. I hope everyone's having an amazing day so far. And I'm back. Yes, I've been away for a few weeks. I've been away on holiday in sunny Greece, but I'm back. And now we're going to get into the program. So I hope you guys are enjoying this lovely weather. But it's going to get a little bit hotter. So we're going to get into the news and edutainment in a second. But first, make sure that you are listening on Starr Radio UK, on the TuneIn app and on our dedicated app, and on TuneIn and YouTube. And if you want to call in today with my topic to discuss with me, or if you want to get in touch with me and have your say on the program, you can call 020-8133-2257. That's 020-8133-2257, or 020-8133-2258. That's 020-8133-2258. If you're calling outside of the UK and in US or Canada, you can call on 001-718-303-2737. That's 001-718-303-2757. So and you can also tweet me at what's next 3 on Twitter. You can tweet me, you can comment the program, say your comments on the topic. So my topic today, we're going to be talking about cyberbullying and the issues that are arising now with that on social media, and messaging and looking at some case studies as well. And so you can tweet me at what's next 3. If you have your say, you can call in and join me here live on Star Radio UK. So first of all, let's get into our topic. Not our topic, our news and edutainment. So I'm sure you guys have noticed, it's pretty obvious, but here in the UK it's getting really hot. We're gonna go through a heat wave. So tomorrow apparently it's going to get as high as 37 degrees or 35 in parts of the UK, and the current record is 36.7 of the hottest heat in July in the UK, and that was set in Heathrow, and the heat wave might even beat the all-time record of 38.5 degrees in Kent that was set in August 2003. But unfortunately, for those of you guys who are excited, who might get a day off work, there are no laws apparently about it being too hot to work. All UK employers are supposed to keep, work environment to a reasonable temperature. However, people are saying that when the heat is not isn't an option, there should be a relaxed dress code, because obviously of the heat. There's certain things you can wear that keeps you cooler than other items of clothing. But there are tips, especially, I don't know if you're like me and it's so hot and it's hard to sleep in this heat. There are tips for you to keep cool. So many are shutting blinds and curtains and leaving like windows open on shady sides of the house and shutting it on hot sides, or and keeping all the windows open before you go to bed so that you can get a breeze, because sometimes the heat can be a bit humid. You should have a lukewarm shower before bed and use thin cotton sheets. And I think in terms of clothing as well, cotton is one of the best things you can wear in this heat to keep you cool. So yeah, and you should also, one tip is you can put your sheets in the freezer to keep them cool. And to keep children and babies cooler, it's better for babies to not wear as much clothes and to keep them out of the sun between the hours of 11 and 3, and keep them in the shade so that they can't get too hot and for it to be really uncomfortable. And the best things to eat in this weather as well is they say that scientists say spicy food apparently can cool you down, but also to eat things with a lot of water, so like lettuce, cucumber, strawberries, and to drink less alcohol and more water, obviously, and low fat milk and tea and coffee can help you cool down, and to eat less as well in this weather. So yeah, another story is singer Camila Cabello has opened up with her struggles with anxiety on Instagram. She reminisces about growing up and being too scared to perform and wanting to pursue her dreams of being a singer, but being so scared and anxious to do so. She says that, I remember growing up hearing stories of the singers I loved, and all the stories sounded the same. Kids would grow up performing for their families, putting on talent shows for their parents. But she said, I was the opposite. I never sang in front of my parents or friends and would get flustered if they asked me to. I sang in my room when my parents left for the shops and cried one day when I saw them filming me through the crack of the door. I got teary-eyed when people sang happy birthday to me, because people looking at me made me so overwhelmed. I was genuinely incredibly nervous and socially anxious. And people always have this disbelief when they tell me that. So she was asked, how did she overcome her anxiety? And Havana Singer says that she had another side to her, a braver Camilla, who allowed her to pursue her dreams and fight against the fear of the unknown. And she says that while she still experiences anxiety regularly. Her other persona, she talks about this other Camilla who is more braver and more stronger and just fights and pushes against the other scared, like anxious Camilla to make sure that she achieves her dreams. And she says, the truth is you decide who you're going to be. And she said, every day I'm not talking about talent or success. I just mean the type of person you're going to be. If you haven't been very brave or very social or wild or an adventure seeker, if you describe yourself as the opposite of those things, it doesn't mean you can't be. The other you need to grab little you by the hand and yank you by the hairs and tell you, let's go. Little me hasn't left. I just don't let her boss me around as much, she wrote. So Camilla expresses that she had terrible anxiety meeting new people and meeting and singing in front of people, but she still had this dream and this desire to perform. And she says that she wanted to share this because she said sometimes she sees other people do things and she doesn't want people to think that, oh, I can't like achieve my dreams because I'm so shy, or I can't do something out of my comfort zone because I have anxiety. She says that's not true. And she says she went from never wanting to sing in front of people to being addicted to performing, being still anxious to hang out with new people, but still having an amazing time. She says, I've changed so much of a person, but you choose who you're going to be. Force yourself to do what you're afraid and go after what you want to be because you're worth that and it's worth the fight. I think it's really important that, you know, celebrities are open and honest, and other influencers are open and honest, particularly with their mental health, because it shows that, you know, everyone can go through this and other people that you might look up to are real and human and do have these emotions and do experience anxiety or depression. And it's inspiring because it opens up the conversation for people and it reduces the stigma and the shame. So I'm glad that she you know, expressed her feelings and expressed that and was honest and open about anxiety, because it's important. A lot of people suffer from anxiety or depression or other mental health issues, and it's important that we all like take responsibility and just have these conversations and share with our friends and help our friends who are struggling or ourselves, and know that there's no shame. There are places and people you can talk to, like Anxiety UK, Mind, and NHS or Choices, and Samaritans as well. So that's one. Let's go to another story. So apparently a quarter of British people are drinking plant-based milk and avoiding cow's milk, and the research market firm Mintel spoke to 2,000 people and found that the biggest people not drinking not cow's milk are 16 to 24-year-olds. 33% of them are drinking them, but plant-based milk only make up 4% of the milk market, and 96% of the milk market is cow's milk. But the reason for this are health reasons and ethics and the environment, and they're driving the sales of plant-based milk, says Emma Clifford. She looks after food and drink research for Mintel. So I think, health, it makes sense. Health reasons are a lot of reasons why people change what, you know, they're consuming. But it seems like in the last 12 months, 37% of 16 to 24-year-olds are drinking plant-based milk. And a lot of people are saying the impact of the environment was the main reason for 36% who believe that dairy farming isn't good for the environment. She says, with volume sales of cow's milk already on a downturn trend, the fact that young consumers are turning away from these products does not bode well for the segment's prospect in the long term. And she believes that people should think about the benefits of using cow's milk. But vegan health-based shake owner Sam Frisky thinks that he shifted his diet and became vegan, and he says that there are a lot of alternative milks on offer, and he realized you don't actually have to compromise taste and texture or nutritional values, and he thinks that plant-based milks can act as gateway to full veganism. I mean, it's interesting. I think if it's better for your health, why not try it out? If it's better for the environment, it might be a good idea to try it out. And there are like loads of plant-based milk that out there, like soya, oat, rice milk, almond, coconut milk, and you really can't taste much of a difference. So why not make that small change? Even if you can't be full vegan, there are some small changes that you can make that, and it's a benefit. If it's one, good for your health, and two, good for the environment, you can't really go wrong so much there. So it's an interesting one. I think a lot of people are doing things, making small changes for the environment. I think that is good, that we're now realizing that the planet may not live forever and we should take care of it. You know, we're living here, you take care of your home, so why not take care of the planet any way you can? So the new Lion King movie that came out last week, that stars Beyonce Knowles and Donald Glover, is released, and singer-songwriter Ray expressed her dream of writing a song for Beyonce when she was 16, and now she's done that with the new Lion King album Gift. She co-wrote the track Bigger, and Ray has written successful hits for solos for people like Ellie Goulding and Little Mix and David Guetta, but she says her biggest songwriting credit is her cut with Beyonce. She says that everyone in my age bracket grew up listening to Beyonce religiously, and I studied Beyonce and all of her performances, and I used to watch her videos and cry. So the new song, the new movie and the new album, it has a new song called Bigger, and she's like, it's amazing to see, because she told herself that she was going to write for Beyonce, and here she has written it, and she says it's absolutely crazy how things have turned out. And she said the song started at a writing camp at Beyonce's studio, and where many songwriters and producers work together for a short period of time and come up with songs for new projects. But Ray says the song's life began with a bond with US songwriter Stacey Barr. She said that they were both in a really dark and sad place and wanted to create something to empower ourselves, and they spent like 2 or 3 hours on it. And Beyonce's team came in when she wrote it and loved it, but she didn't realize that it was going to be on the album until a few days before the album was released. But Ray has become quite popular in the UK with collaborations with Jack Jones and Jonas Blue. She's a vocalist and writer, and she says a credit like this shows a lot of hard work and several years in the music industry. She says, I want to be taken seriously as a writer, and it took a lot of work to find my way into the writing rooms, then the bigger rooms, to eventually get into a room like this, then to actually have a cut. It's just crazy. I'm over the moon. So that's our news. So we're going to get into our topic in a second. So our topic today is about, like I mentioned earlier, is about cyberbullying and why it's an issue, and why and how we can solve it, and looking at what cyberbullying is and some case studies, because not a lot of people might not know what cyberbullying is. They might not have experienced it, but with the growing use of social media, it is becoming more of an issue. Like, we looked a few weeks ago at how Selena Gomez had talked about online trolls, which is a nickname for people who make rude comments on social media, but and comment negatively on posts. And there was even an international report that claimed that British schools had the worst problem in terms of online bullying, and it's an issue that it faces a lot of people. I don't know, you might have experienced it before, you might know somebody who has experienced cyberbullying, but I think it is an important issue, and it is something that should be tackled and solved within not just teenagers and young people, but young adults and even older people who might not realize that this is an issue affecting either their children, their family members, or so I think the best way to address cyberbullying is to have the definition of what it is. So the Stop Bullying website defines cyberbullying as bullying that takes place over digital devices like phones, computers, tablets, and then they can also occur through text, apps, online and social media, gaming forums, wherever people can post, share content. Cyberbullying includes sending or posting or even sharing negative, harmful, false or mean content about someone else. And this can even include sharing personal or private information with someone, causing embarrassment or humiliation. And some cyberbullying can cross the line into unlawful or criminal behaviour. So it does mainly, the reason why it's called cyber is because it takes place over the internet. So social media channels are including, and even gaming channels, because nowadays like PS4s can have online forums, you can connect to the internet and you can play games with other people, but it can happen through gaming as well. And another one that's quite interesting is the fact that it's not just, you don't have to be the person who creates the nasty message, but even sharing, retweeting, posting it over and over again, that contributes, and that and classes as cyberbullying. So even if you didn't make it, your friend did, sharing it, posting it, can contribute to that. And it can also be pretending to be somebody else to hurt another person, taking unflattering pictures of someone and spreading them around, circulating sexual suggestive pictures or messaging, posting threatening or harmful messages, and spreading rumors as well. So all of these things contribute as cyberbullying. It's really really dangerous, and it does lead to unfortunately like anxiety, depression and suicide, because the way cyberbullying works is whereas traditional bullying takes place could be physical and usually like on the playground, you heard those stories, or you might have experienced playground bullying. Like this one is more it's 24/7, it's on your phone. It can include multiple people, multiple victims, and multiple cyberbullies as well. So it's a lot more emotional, and it can include physical as well, but it is way more emotional than it is physical, which is I think one of the most why it's such a problem. So, and parents and teachers and colleagues might not even notice it because they can't physically see the harassment. It can be more hidden and takes a long time to discover the issue. So the percentage of parents who say their children have been victims of cyberbullying has risen between 2011 and last year. So in America it rose from 15 to 26%, Canada it rose from 18 to 20%, and in England it rose from 11 to 18%, and even in South Africa cyberbullying rose from 10% to 26%. So it is a rising issue. Half of all young adults have experienced it in some way, 20% and cyberbullying, like I said, and suicide have been linked. Around 80% of youth that commit suicide have depressive thoughts, and cyberbullying leads to more suicidal thoughts than traditional bullying. So this is a serious issue because it's, like I said, it can be 24/7. It affects reputation, it affects social friendship groups, it can affect, and it's sneaky because you might not know the person doing it. So it can seem harder to catch someone. And like I said before, people can hide behind bullying online in a way that you can't with traditional face-to-face bullying in school or the workplace or uni or wherever it may take. It happens online, so it seems it's a lot more of a pressing issue. It's a lot more personal as well, because for example, if someone's taking personal information about you and putting it out there, it's attacking your personality, it's attacking your privacy as well. So Sally Holland in Wales, she's the children's commissioner, says that they need safer spaces for people to talk about bullying on social media platforms. And Ofcom reported that 1 in 10 young people aged 12 to 15 have been bullied online. And the advice service says the bully is in the back pocket and cyberbullying happens 24/7. So because obviously the internet is 24/7, it can affect someone 24/7. It is a really pressing issue. Sally Holland spoke to more than 400 young people, along with 150 teachers and youth workers on the issue. And she said that we heard that children and young people have had enough of being told what to do and not to do online, and we want a space to talk about this complex issue in a safe atmosphere. They also told us that adults around them, parents and teachers, don't understand their online world and can't keep up with the top technology. That echoes what teachers and youth workers told us. So I think that's it's interesting to get some feedback on why it's not working, why teachers and parents might not be able to understand it or maybe see it, because it is 24/7, and they might not understand the ways in which it affects them. I mean, if I think it's very hard for those physical symptoms to come out when it's online, when it's based online and it's personal messages, and there might be some stigma or shame too, and threatening. Like if someone's threatening someone and saying, like, if you tell, it's different, because traditional bullying sometimes comes with a threat, but it's more different when it's blackmail or through your phone. It's a lot more, it's scarier. As much as the threat of being physically injured or physically beaten up is scary. Also, the fact that someone might have information against you, or the fact that someone's circulating stories or rumors about you, it's horrible. And we're going to have a little break, and then we're going to talk more about the case studies and how parents and teachers and anyone dealing with this can get some help, or how we can prevent and reduce this, reduce cyberbullying, and what are the things and issues going on and schemes in place to reduce this. So come back. You're listening to Starr Radio UK and What's Next with me, Ife. So if you want to join in the conversation, you can call on 020 8133 2257, 020 8133 2257, or 020 8133 2258. Outside the US or Canada, you can call on 001 718 303 2737, 001 718 303 2737. Don't go anywhere.
Girl, if your body does a water, link up, shut up on a clinical doctor. Now say, oh, I'm a get a fee father. Before your father, I got realize you have a daughter. Baby girl, who know how me specialize. Close in the eyes, do you see paradise? I use it, only shot a treat to you right. Our wedding, cause the other, I got it the right time.
Yeah, your body come, yeah. Where you wind up for me, oh. I swear your body come, oh. Love the way you bend it for me, oh. I'm at you, be like more that she wrote. Say my baby, no one like you. Say my girl is like more that she wrote. Yeah. Call me the paper boy. I put you you see me a paper boy. Everybody know me not a booger boy. Check around town me a bigger boy. I ain't jammy. I ain't jammy. Step in at the place, everybody them jammy. Got your body come, yeah. Where you whine up for me, oh. I swear your body come, eh. Can you make me wanna call the police, oh. Girl, you know I'm at you. Be like more that she wrote. Say my baby, no one like you. Say my girl is like a motor, she rock.
Call me the continental boy. Million bucks, say me not talk much. If you got a lot to the beat and so, girl, twist and bend it in the dance floor. The girl back bigger than Kim and B. She like the way me step in and me give and G. The girl not regular, she VIP. She call me king when she see me. You, the kind of girl where you have to rock up on a daily. Anything you want, we got it for you, baby. You a pretty girl, come give it to me, baby. You know it's king and papi, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your body come. Where you wind up from me up. I swear your body come. Oh. Love the way you bend it from me up. Girl, you know I'm at you. You like more that she wrote. Say my baby, no one like you. Say my girl, you like more that she wrote.
I say dreams, up. Yeah. Love it way more. Yeah. Oh, Ferrari look good on you. Bugatti look good on you. Gucci look good on you. Louis good on you. I see one question, I want to hear this from you. Girl, I want to know. Say you go there. For me, yeah, if I the dream daddy, yeah, say you go do all the thing where you say you go do for me, yeah. If I no get the money, oh, yeah, say you go stand by me, yeah. Say you go do all the thing where you say you go do for me. You know that, I know that, my love for you no get pattern. Right man with the likes and sultan. Sing it out loud any way that I can. Oh, my mommy, oh, my daddy, oh. Soon they go miss you, my baby, oh. Somebody know somebody. For your mother, I go kiss somebody, oh. You know this love, some things not a joking thing. Baby girl, you know something. Say somebody to somebody. For your mother, I go kiss somebody. Is it me and you, mommy? Is it me and you, mommy? Ferrari look good on you. Bugatti look good on you. Gucci look good on you. Louis good on you.
Hey, roll up, nigga. Just roll up.
DJ.
Holla.
You know it's a murder. Say it's a murder. Everything murder. Yeah. She got you overload, baby. Hey, I say, oh nana, we killing it on the low nana. Hey. And I wanna change for you, do anything for you. Soon as I come through, see the look on everyone's face. Down like a lady, you special lady. Go down like a lady, you special. You can see that sky. Couldn't take the eyes off you. It was all up DJ. I ain't gonna be your baby, oh. She didn't go down like a cup of tea. She didn't go down like a cup of tea. Mommy, that's me. If you want, I go make you mine. If you want, I go love you, die. Anything you want, baby, say I go buy. So if you want, I go make you mine. I be a penna. Mede makumama winti fa. Unjum ni eti sorry sa da trust. Hey, I'm a sukra na me domo.
Makumama winti fa fa Unjumni eti sorry sa do drama Omusukura na medomo DJ Jealousy go share against the bad boys. Jealousy go share. Jealousy go share against the bad boys. Jealousy go share. I go up into my private party. Son of man, I one and only. I don't know what I don't know, but never tell it. The vibe is flowing, and you know the girl I'm rolling. Why make a man control it? The vibe is flowing. The vibe is flowing. You can just hold out to my quiet private. Hella girls inside it, and you know they vibing. Ain't nobody on the shot. Wind up your body for real. We hold the vibes, we don't want no drama. I know I have to tell you, say we change up. We just came to party, we sipping that juice, so we're feeling wavy. Vibrating, phone going crazy. Guys saying where you, I'm on my way, G. Just saw my snap, you see a couple ladies. Down, down, trust me. Always going down, down on me.
Hello, we're back. We are back with What's Next with me, your host Ife. We're talking about cyberbullying and the issues and how we can overcome those issues. If you're just joining me here, you're listening on Starr Radio UK, UK's leading Afro-Caribbean radio station. So yeah, if you're just joining us, we have been talking about cyberbullying. We've just been talking a bit about what it is, what it means, what are the issues, what the the definition of cyberbullying and the statistics and how it's affecting young adults, teenagers, young people. We're going to look at a few case studies of how it's affected some people and like how they've had to deal with it and the issues and how we can, and then look at how we can deal with it in schools, in the workplace, and just how it can be prevented. So one case study is of this parent who called Nicola, who her daughter was allowed to use social media sites at home, but she did trust her daughter to use the sites responsibly. And then one day her daughter's teacher phoned her and told her that there was an issue between her daughter and her two friends about receiving unkind messages. Her daughter denied sending the messages, but then Nicola found out that her daughter did send some nasty messages, and she was angry and initially stopped her daughter from accessing social media for a while, and then monitored her and the use of it. But Nicola believed that her daughter did learn a lesson about what you say online and how it does affect real life and how it does affect other people. But it's interesting. I think one of the main issues of cyberbullying is this thing that people don't believe or don't recognize, that you can actually get in huge trouble sending horrible messages and affecting people, and it does come into light what you have been doing, and there are laws in place that, and online bullying can become a serious crime, and it is against the law to send, in terms of, while it's not classified completely, like there are laws in place, like of harassment laws. Sometimes, unfortunately, if it comes to like negatively sexing messages and they are underage, that can be classed as child pornography, which is an offence. So I think people need to be careful, young people and young adults, and everyone needs to be educated on what they are saying and what they're posting and sharing online, because bear in mind, earlier the definition does include sharing harmful and harassing images and posts. It does classify as cyberbullying as well, and say you might not have even made the message, but sharing it can get you in a lot of serious trouble as well. I remember in school my teachers were talking about the horrible things that people were saying. There's a show X Factor, and back then I think like the duo Jedward, I don't know if anyone remembers, of them were getting hateful messages. My teacher did warn us and tell us that, you know, saying things like threatening messages can get you into trouble, and it's unkind saying things online, and just because it is online doesn't mean it's not a criminal offence. It doesn't mean it's not affecting somebody else. Like another story, a case study I did when I was doing media in high school was of a man who trolled a lady who wanted to get a female, like a feminist on the £5 or £20 note, and he said awful things about this lady, and he did get a criminal offence. And looking back, when they asked why he did it, he was like, it's just stuff you say online, no one gets in trouble. But actually the hard truth is that he found out it is a criminal offence, and he did have to pay a fine or end up in prison because of what he was saying online and posting online. So I think that's a huge reason, and it shows how it affects people, and how people don't realise like their actions online. It's responsible. It's like any crime that you do in person. Like, it's almost like if you can get away with saying it online, why wouldn't you do it in real life? I think it's this preconception and this idea that people don't realise that what they're doing online represents them as well. Just because it's online, it's not physical, doesn't mean it's not real, doesn't mean it's not hurtful, and doesn't mean it's not a crime. So there was another case study of a boy called Henry who arrived at a new school, and one day he was browsing a social media site, and he came across a page about the school with pictures of students, including one labelling him a fat nerd, and he posted a reply expressing his dismay. And the postings became nastier and nastier, and students were making loud comments in the lunchroom and in the playground. And a teacher overheard and asked what was going on, and he described the social media page and the cyberbullying. So it's interesting here, the case, not only was it online, but it did spill out into real life. And I think a lot of people don't realise, like I said before, a lot of people don't realise that it can spill out into real life, and it can affect someone's day-to-day life, being bullied. And another story by 15-year-old Rebecca, it's not actually her name, was bullied after an innocent photo of her wearing a low-cut top at a party was shared on Snapchat. She says, there were comments calling me things like skirt and slag and other worse names. And she said, I froze, I was speechless, I didn't know what to think about it. It made me feel so bad about myself. She added, I felt really embarrassed because I hadn't had my say about it, and there was no way I was going to get my say with about 300 plus people. It was just a photo that I'd been caught at the wrong time and at the wrong angle. So, see, again, it shows that cyberbullying, it's so easy. It can, like, imagine like 300 people plus, or thousands of people plus against one person. The odds doesn't seem fair. So it's, again, they don't really understand that it's a huge issue, that it affects loads of people, and unfortunately sometimes because it's hidden, it's hard to see, and sometimes, unfortunately, it can come to the worst stages. But there are like things to combat them, and some of the tips, like there are tips out there, like for example, blocking. It seems extreme, but sometimes if you're constantly getting these messages 24/7, the best thing to do is block them so you don't see them. That might be a temporary solution, but it can make a whole lot of give someone a whole lot more peace of mind, less anxiety, if they block the messages coming in and tell somebody. And then I think it's definitely having that open conversation between parents, teachers, colleagues about the serious issues and consequences. And like, even if you didn't start it, it's important, like if you find someone sharing these things, they need to know that they can get in trouble as well. Also tell someone like who has more authority than you, for example at uni, the tutor or the teacher, or even if it's happening in the workplace, in the employer, and also reassure them that if they know someone who's being bullied, they're not going to get, and if they are a victim, they're not going to get punished. Neither is it their fault. And also another one is to keep all the messages as proof, for just in case, for parents if they want to talk to other parents, or if unfortunately it does become a criminal case, they should keep all the messages as proof, and then blocking the messages. Unfortunately, some people might have to change their numbers, and also keep your password and protect your passwords, because people can pretend to be other people online as well. And just don't share anything that, an important one is don't share anything, don't put it out there that you would not want to be made public. So, and it's kind of a common sense one, but some people still don't realize that how powerful the internet is. And you know, we're in a digital age now, everything is instant. Unfortunately, once you do post something, you can get it taken down, but it takes a lot, and by the time you do go about that route of taking it down, someone's either copied it, someone's posted it somewhere else. So it is being incredibly careful about what you post, and knowing that, like, if I post this, how many people is this going to reach? Or if I share this, it's going to be public. And it is like, as much as we think the internet is private, it's not that private. So I think it's like, for teenagers or children, keeping computers in a shared space so that they don't have like internet access in their own room for their own good, for example, and turn it off as well. Sometimes the best thing to do, like with the blocking, is just to turn it off at a certain time and just take a break from them, because like, especially this is probably more to do with either trolls or you know, battles or arguments on social media. Sometimes it's best just not to look at it, or to turn it off, or to deactivate it just for a while, you know, spend some time in the real world. But yeah, I think cyberbullying, it affects a lot of people, and I don't think people realize how much it's a tricky issue, because again, like I said, it's not seen as like physical bullying can be. But there are things you can do. There are places you can report cyberbullying to. I mean, there is Bullying UK gives you some good advice and good resources. And if you're in the US or Canada, I'm sure there's other bullying websites and that can help and give you some tips and advice. And if you're a parent and you're not really sure like how to get help, if you're not even sure if your child's, I think the best thing to do is to be honest and open and have this conversation with your child, whether you're not sure about the technology or not. There are blocks you can put on sites, there are many ways there are loads of different resources online as well that can help you find out what cyberbullying is and how it is affecting your child. Not to say that every child is being cyberbullied, or like maybe even in Nicola's case, children might be doing the cyberbullying, and if that is the case, it's just having that conversation with them, letting them know the consequences, letting them know it's okay. Like, if you wouldn't do it in real life, what gives you the right to bully people online? And I think the main way to overcome it is through education, and through sites, through hearing from other teachers, other parents' experiences, and just coming together and dealing with and realizing that, you know, there are consequences to your actions, even if there are online, even if you did it once, even if you didn't even even if you weren't the one who created the post, sharing it is still part of the problem, just as much as I think that's the biggest one as well. Sometimes you think, oh, it's harmless because I didn't create it, but you're just as much as responsible for sharing something as you are posting it or creating it. You can all still get in trouble. So I think what to take away from this is just to know that it is an issue. Like being able to talk with children and parents and colleagues about the issue helps deal with it. I think in terms of maybe understanding the technology, I don't think you have to I think you do have to understand, the rules, and social media channels they don't necessarily they do have a responsibility for their users. And like Jackie Del Price, the UK government suicide prevention minister, said that they do need to step up to the plate, and we do want social media to do this, but not through the law. We want them to do it because they should look after their users, which is true. Like, parents shouldn't have to really worry that their child shouldn't be using this site because they're scared of being exposed to the risk of bullying, because social media channels some of them have been, but there is still more to be done in terms of blocking. Like the Instagram minister has been working with government a few weeks ago to come up with a way of reducing bullying and trolls on Instagram and making things more private. But again, I think it's going to be more of a group effort from personal people, from users, from regulators, from social media bosses. I think it is an issue, but I think the main thing to do to combat it is definitely to educate people and just to have stricter rules on the channels, and for people just to understand that their consequences does have actions. But it's an interesting topic, because social media, like with everything, it has its positives and it has its negatives. But the main thing with the internet and social media, it's so hard to regulate it because it's so vast, it's so wide, it's international, it's within different countries, so it's really, really hard to regulate it. But I think it starts with the home. Like, everything starts with the home, and with teaching your children, your teenagers, all young adults and adults themselves as well, who might have experienced it and don't know what to do. I think the best thing to do is get online or go get some resources and educate yourself. And it is unfortunate that this is a huge issue, but again, we can there are things that people can do, like to stop it, and there are things. And I think the best thing is to tell someone if you are experiencing cyberbullying. I think to tell someone, a teacher, a parent, anyone, and there are helplines that you can call, and there are websites like Cyberbullying and the Law, and they can give you resources to deal with it. And your school, I think, is a big one, because unfortunately many of these incidences do happen with young people and with their school. And I think there are ways to get in touch. Like the Bullying UK has a helpline, 0808-800-2222, and that's 0808-800-2222. So I think it is important to get the information you need before it's too late and before there are serious consequences. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today on What's Next. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you learned something. I hope anyone out there who is experiencing this, I hope you do get the help you need. And I hope for any of you who have been participating in cyberbullying, know the consequences and know that, you can get in trouble with this issue, and it is you're doing. You can't just get away with it just because it's online and nobody can see you. Things can be tracked. IP addresses can be tracked, and things, you know, there are consequences for your actions. But thank you so much for listening. Make sure to keep listening to Starr Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean radio station. I'm just going to acknowledge a few people who have been watching. Good afternoon, Dave. Thank you for watching. Top fan again. But yeah, stay tuned. Later we're going to have Olayemi Koiki with Niger Voices today. And also next week, tune in. I'm going to have Toby Olujimi and Tapiwa talking about W Talk and their new show called Encounters, and we're going to be talking about relationships. It's going to be a good show. You don't want to miss it. But again, thank you so much for listening, and I do wish you an amazing rest of your week. Enjoy the hot sunshine. Stay cool in this weather and eat loads of ice cream and have fun. Yeah, thank you so much. I've been Ife Popoola, your host. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Make her rock your body. Baby girl, make her rock. As a testimony, it's in bad push. Today I wanna go the down. I wanna dance. My baby says she no go ever leave me till I get money. So tonight I really wanna give her all the fun. Make her dance, nigga, show her say my love, we don't pass money. International loving, love when they make me funny. Love when nobody feel stop. Baby love with a different style. Oh, your international loving, yeah. Love when they make me happy. DJ Push, my tempo. As a testimony, it's in bad push.